Chosen one, listen carefully. Because what you thought was meant to destroy you, God is about to use to define you. The very pain that was designed to silence your voice will become the reason others hear it. Every betrayal, every closed door, every moment you were misunderstood, it wasn't wasted. It was all being woven into a divine tapestry, one that only makes sense when is seen through heaven's eyes. There were people who tried to break you, circumstances that tried to bury you, seasons that felt like punishment when all you ever did was love deeply and believe honestly. But you're still standing. That's not by accident. That's evidence. Evidence that God has been in the details all along. You may not have seen it, but while the enemy plotted harm, heaven was rewriting the outcome. You didn't lose yourself, you were being refined. You didn't fall behind, you were being set apart. There's a reason others' attacks could not end your story, because God had already authored your redemption before the first wound was even formed. Right now, there's a shift happening in the spirit. You can feel it. The heaviness that once felt endless is beginning to lift. The confusion that clouded your path is giving way to clarity. This isn't random. It's revelation. God is turning what was meant for evil into a testimony so radiant that even those who doubted you will see His hand on your life. You're entering the chapter where everything makes sense, the why behind the heartbreak, the purpose behind the delay, the divine reason behind what felt like rejection. Heaven is about to vindicate you publicly for the pain you endured privately. Every tear you sowed in faith is about to bloom into favor. So do not fear what's ahead. The storm was never meant to destroy you. It was meant to reveal you. You were hidden for protection, not forgotten. And now in this divine hour, God is about to show you why the weapons formed against you could not prosper. Because when God turns something for good, it doesn't just bless you, it transforms everything around you. Your story becomes a mirror of grace, a living prophecy that says, what the enemy meant for harm, God turned into glory. And that chosen one is where your next chapter begins. You see, none of it was coincidence. There were no wasted moments, no meaningless tears, no pointless detours. Every delay, every silence, every no you encountered was a coded message from heaven, a divine redirection, not a rejection. You weren't being punished. You were being positioned. There is a voice that has been whispering in your spirit all along. You've felt it in the stillness, in those quiet hours when the world was asleep, but your soul was awake. That voice didn't come from your own mind. It was the gentle sound of divine guidance, reminding you that something greater was always at work. Heaven has been watching. Every injustice that tried to bury you was noted. Every battle that felt unfair was recorded. You've been under divine observation, not divine abandonment. And now the same hand that allowed certain things to happen is the hand preparing to reverse them in ways beyond your understanding. The message being released to you right now is not one of vague hope, it's a decree. The same God who allowed the storm is the God commanding the wind to cease. The same God who let the night linger is now calling forth your dawn. Heaven has seen enough. The season of being misunderstood, overlooked, and misrepresented is reaching its divine expiration date. This isn't about karma or coincidence, it's about covenant. The promise written over your life cannot be erased by human failure or demonic interference. What was meant for harm was intercepted by grace. God has been quietly turning the enemy's weapons into instruments of restoration. Even the people who walked away were part of the process. Some were removed so that destiny could move freely through you. Others were never meant to see your next level, because their presence would have distorted the purity of what God was birthing in you. And though it hurt, though it left you feeling isolated, that isolation became the incubator of revelation. Heaven wants you to know this. Your pain did not disqualify you, it verified you. Every hardship became a seal of authenticity on your calling. The furnace that tried to consume you only refined your gold. And now the word of the Lord is clear. This is your turnaround season. The tables are shifting. The story is being rewritten. You are moving from victim to vessel, from suffering to significance. The divine narrative is unfolding exactly as it was written in eternity's script. And no earthly power can stop what heaven has already decreed. There's something sacred about this moment. It's not just a word, it's a revelation being unlocked. The same God who once seemed silent is now speaking with unmistakable clarity. I am turning it for your good. That declaration is not for later, it's for now. And so the revelation unfolds. The Spirit of God is declaring that what once stood against you will soon stand for you. The very situations that caused your pain will become the platform of your promotion. What looked like the end was the beginning disguised as heartbreak. Heaven is reversing the current, turning the tide, and rewriting the outcome in your favor. For a long time, you've walked through what felt like contradiction. You believed, yet doors shut. You prayed, yet silence echoed. You gave, yet loss followed. But the paradox was prophetic. The resistance you faced wasn't proof of God's absence. It was evidence of His investment. The greater the attack, the greater the anointing that had to be forged within you. Picture this, a seed buried beneath the soil, hidden, pressed down, forgotten by sight. The darkness isn't punishment, it's preparation. Beneath the weight of the earth, something sacred begins to break open. That breaking is not death, it's birth. The soil that was meant to smother you is the same soil nourishing your roots. That's what this season has been. Heaven says the time of concealment is ending. You've been hidden long enough. You've carried pain like prophecy, and now it's about to bloom before the eyes of those who once doubted your purpose. The divine reversal won't just lift you, it will redefine you. The weapon that was formed was real, but it failed because grace intercepted the blow. The conversations meant to ruin your reputation only revealed your resilience. The loss that was meant to break your faith strengthened your dependence on God. You were walking through spiritual warfare that looked like everyday disappointment. But through it all, divine hands were molding your destiny into something the enemy couldn't dismantle. There's a sacred irony in how heaven works. What was once your wound becomes your wisdom. What was once your shame becomes your story. What was once your fear becomes your fire. The things you thought would disqualify you are now the very reasons heaven is elevating you. Listen closely, the Lord is saying, the same ground that saw your tears will soon witness your triumph. The very environment that oppressed you will become the soil of your expansion. The voices that mocked you will marvel at your rise. This is the moment of divine turnaround, where what was meant for harm becomes the hinge of healing. The Spirit shows a door one you didn't even know existed, swinging open in the unseen realm. It's not a door of chance, but of divine recompense. Every ounce of pain you carried has been accounted for. The heavens have tallied your tears, and now the scale tips toward favor. Expect the reversal to begin subtly in a word of unexpected encouragement, a sudden release from what once burdened you, a restoration of peace you thought was lost forever. These are not coincidences, they are confirmations that heaven has initiated the shift. And soon, what was whispered in your wilderness will be shouted on your mountaintop. What was concealed in silence will be revealed in song. The prophecy written in secret will unfold in sight. This is not just about recovery, it's about revelation. You are being reintroduced to the world not as the person who survived, but as the vessel who carries proof of divine justice. God is not simply restoring what was lost, He's multiplying it. For every betrayal, expect a blessing. For every tear, a testimony. For every loss, a layer of wisdom that no enemy can steal. So do not look back with bitterness. What was meant for harm cannot haunt you anymore. The script has flipped, and grace holds the pen now. You were never meant to stay in the valley. You were meant to rise from it, shining with the light of redemption that proves one eternal truth. When God turns it for good, no power in hell can turn it back. Every divine reversal carries a hidden lesson, a sacred pattern that mirrors the very heartbeat of heaven. The reason this turning point feels so profound is because it reflects the very nature of God Himself, the one who brings life out of death, beauty out of ashes, and purpose out of pain. When something was meant for harm, heaven does not merely undo it. Heaven redeems it. Redemption means transformation through divine intention. It means the pain remains a part of your story, but it no longer defines you, it refines you. Think of gold in the furnace. It isn't destroyed by the fire. It's purified by it. The flames that others would fear are the very tools heaven uses to separate what's temporary from what's eternal. That's what happened to you. Every trial you endured became a refining fire burning away doubt, pride, and fear, until what remained was authentic faith that can't be shaken by circumstance. There's a deep spiritual truth hidden in that process. The enemy can only touch the surface, but God always works beneath it. When attacks came against your reputation, your health, your peace, or your finances, God was operating in the unseen layers, strengthening your spirit, increasing your discernment, and teaching you how to hear His whisper amid the noise. The harm was external, but the healing was internal. Heaven always sees further than pain. While you looked at the shattered pieces, God saw the mosaic being formed. The enemy wanted you to focus on loss, but God was focused on legacy. Every season of silence, every unanswered prayer, every night of questioning was constructing spiritual muscle and inner endurance that no storm can erode. This reversal isn't just a rescue, it's revelation. You're learning that divine power doesn't always appear in lightning or thunder. It appears in quiet endurance, in unexplainable peace, in the calm of a heart that refuses to give up. That is how heaven turns harm into good, not by removing the fire, but by walking with you through it. Remember the story of Joseph. Betrayed by his brothers, thrown into a pit, forgotten in a prison, every injustice was meant to end him. But when God's timing arrived, every weapon became a stepping stone. The pit positioned him for the palace. What they meant for evil, God meant for elevation. That same spiritual pattern is unfolding in your life right now. You see, the journey of the chosen isn't about avoiding harm, it's about transcending it. The very struggle that tried to break your faith has instead deepened it. You've learned that divine favor isn't the absence of storms, it's the assurance of survival through them. The winds that once scared you now carry the sound of destiny. Spiritually, this transformation marks a shift in identity. You are no longer defined by what happened to you. You are defined by what heaven did with it. The ashes became oil. The pain became power. The delay became divine alignment. This is not poetic language, it's spiritual law. When God declares something for your good, it becomes unstoppable. The harm must serve a higher purpose. And that's what's happening now. All things are being aligned for good. Even the things that made no sense, even the people who hurt you, without cause, they've become tools in heaven's design. The mystery of divine timing is that God allows what He intends to transform. You were never unprotected. You were being perfected. When you finally understand this, you stop asking, "Why did this happen?" and start saying, "What is heaven revealing through this?" That's spiritual maturity, the moment pain turns into prophecy. Your spirit is being upgraded to see life from a higher vantage point. You're realizing that every closed door was not rejection, but redirection. Every loss was the pruning that makes room for new fruit. Every delay was divine pacing, ensuring that when your blessing arrives, you'll have the strength to sustain it. So if you're wondering what it all meant, every betrayal, every heartbreak, every season that seemed unfair, here's the revelation. It was heaven building your spiritual architecture. You are no longer fragile. You are fortified. The harm was temporary, but the transformation is eternal. Now you carry within you the same anointing that turns pain into purpose. You've become a living embodiment of divine reversal, proof that God doesn't waste suffering, He repurposes it. And soon you will see that what was once the darkest chapter of your story has become the brightest testimony of His grace. The shift that heaven has spoken will not remain unseen for long. The turning has already begun, and soon confirmations will ripple through your life like quiet waves carrying light to the shore. Pay attention, not everything will arrive with thunder. Some signs will be subtle, disguised as ordinary moments that carry extraordinary meaning. One of the first signs will be peace without reason. You'll wake one morning and realize that what used to disturb you no longer has the same power. The memories that once brought tears will now bring understanding. That's not emotional numbness, it's divine healing. When heaven turns harm to good, the first thing it restores is inner equilibrium. Peace arrives before proof. Another sign will be the return of clarity. What was once confusing will suddenly make sense. The detours will connect like puzzle pieces fitting into divine design. You'll remember old conversations, past opportunities, forgotten words, and see how they were all seeds sown for this exact moment. Divine hindsight is one of heaven's sweetest gifts. It turns regret into revelation. You'll also notice a strange reversal of attention. People who once dismissed you will start paying attention again, not out of curiosity, but because they sense a new atmosphere around you. They won't understand it, but they'll feel it, an undeniable shift in your energy, your presence, your peace. It's not pride, it's evidence. You're walking under open heaven, and it shows. Then there will be divine coincidences, numbers repeating, songs that speak your situation, random encounters that lead to restoration. The very things that once triggered you will now reassure you. The world around you will seem to whisper the same message in different forms. It's turning for your good. These synchronicities are not random. They're confirmations that heaven's hand is moving behind the scenes. You may also experience restored relationships or unexpected reconciliations. People who wronged you may resurface, not all will stay, but their return will confirm your healing. God allows some apologies not for their sake, but for your peace. When you can bless those who once broke you, you know you've stepped into divine maturity. And then perhaps the most sacred sign of all, new opportunities rising from old ruins. The very area of your greatest loss will become the soil of your greatest gain. The thing that once represented defeat will become a symbol of destiny fulfilled. Watch for invitations, ideas, or open doors connected to what once hurt you. That's heaven redeeming time. But remember this, not all signs will be external. Some will bloom quietly in your spirit: discernment, sharpened, compassion, deepened, gratitude, expanded. Those inner shifts are confirmations too, because they signal that you've moved from survival to significance. So don't overlook the small signs. The whisper is just as holy as the shout. When your heart feels lighter, your prayers flow easier, and your nights feel less heavy. That's heaven speaking, I have turned it for good. And once you recognize these confirmations, hold them close. They are divine fingerprints left on your path, proof that even in silence, God was orchestrating something magnificent. Before the full promise unfolds, there will still be moments that test your endurance. Divine turnaround does not remove challenge, it reveals strength. Even when heaven declares a reversal, The enemy often attempts a final resistance, hoping you'll surrender right before breakthrough. But don't be alarmed if the road narrows. It's the path of those who are almost there. One of the first hidden challenges will be the test of patience. You'll sense that change is close, yet certain things will still seem delayed. This is heaven's way of teaching you to trust process over proof. You're not waiting because God forgot you're waiting, because He's finishing the final details. The delay is not denial. It's divine timing, perfecting itself. Another challenge will be spiritual fatigue. When you've carried long seasons of warfare, rest can feel foreign. Even good news might make you cautious, as if blessing could vanish at any moment. That's a residue of battle, not lack of faith. God is inviting you to rest in confidence again, to believe that peace can stay this time. Then comes the test of humility. When the turnaround begins, favor will find you quickly. Doors will open. Recognition will come. But remember, elevation is not meant to inflate the ego. It's meant to amplify the testimony. Heaven is calling you to rise without forgetting the valley that trained your heart. The more God blesses you, the more He'll remind you to walk in gratitude. You may also face unexpected resistance from familiar places. Some will not understand your glow up. Others may question how you rose so fast or why things finally worked for you. Don't let misunderstanding distract you. Light often exposes those who prefer shadows. Love them, but don't dim your radiance to keep them comfortable. There will also be spiritual silence moments where God seems quiet again. This isn't abandonment. It's alignment. He often steps back to let you step forward in faith. The silence after revelation is the training ground for authority. Heaven wants you to move not only because you heard, but because you believe. And perhaps the hardest challenge of all, the temptation to doubt your worthiness. After so much warfare, blessing can feel undeserved. But hear this clearly: grace does not need your perfection, only your permission. You are worthy because heaven chose you, not because you earned it. The moment you embrace that truth, shame loses its grip entirely. These hidden challenges are not curses. They are confirmations that you're stepping into higher territory. The pressure you feel is spiritual altitude. It's proof you've ascended. So when weariness whispers, remember the same God who brought you this far will finish what He started. The harm could not destroy you. The challenge will not deter you. Endure with joy, because every unseen battle is building visible victory. Now that the turning has begun, heaven is calling you to walk with intention. Divine reversals are not random, they require participation. God is not only changing circumstances, He's inviting you to change posture. The promise is secure, but the position matters. The first instruction is this: guard your atmosphere. Your environment, both physical and spiritual, must align with where you're going, not where you've been. Remove voices that speak fear into your faith. Distance yourself from patterns that drain your peace. You cannot heal in the same environment that hurt you. The new season will require quiet spaces where your spirit can breathe again. Create altars of stillness, places where heaven can whisper without competition. Second, speak as if it's already done. Words are not decoration, they are declaration. Life and death truly rest in the tongue, and heaven responds to faith-filled speech. Begin to prophesy over your day, your purpose, your identity. Replace phrases like "I hope" with "I know." Speak from victory, not for it. When you align your language with destiny, reality must eventually follow. Third, forgive completely. The enemy's favorite tactic after harm is resentment. Unforgiveness binds your spirit to the very pain heaven is trying to free you from. You don't have to approve of what they did, but you must release the hold it has on your heart. When you forgive, you reclaim authority. What once wounded you becomes powerless against your peace. Fourth practice: divine expectancy. Faith is not waiting with worry, it's waiting with wonder. Each morning expect favor to meet you. Expect clarity to surprise you. Expect doors to open that no human hand could unlock. Heaven moves where anticipation dwells. When you live with holy expectation, you magnetize miracles. Fifth, stay obedient in the small. Breakthrough often hides inside ordinary instructions. If God nudges you to reach out, to give, to rest, to step back, listen. The miraculous often begins with something mundane. The Red Sea didn't part when Moses prayed, it parted when he lifted his staff. Obedience turns prophecy into reality. Sixth, anchor yourself in gratitude. Gratitude is the language of multiplication. When you thank God for what's unfolding, you accelerate the unfolding. Even in the in-between, speak gratitude aloud. Thank Him for lessons, for delays, for protection you didn't see. Gratitude keeps your heart aligned with abundance rather than anxiety. Seventh, feed your spirit, not your fear. Every day brings voices competing for your attention. The world shouts with panic, heaven whispers with peace. Choose what you consume. Read words that lift your frequency. Listen to sounds that nourish your soul. Surround yourself with reminders of promise. Your spirit becomes what it consistently hears. Eighth, move when heaven moves. Timing is sacred. When you sense the prompting to act, to start, to leave, to build, to release, don't delay. Hesitation can stall destiny. The same wind that opens your door may not blow forever. Flow with divine momentum. Don't resist it with overthinking. Finally, keep your vision holy. You've been through too much to live with half sight. See yourself through heaven's eyes, no longer as the wounded one, but as the warrior refined by fire. The harm-shaped humility, the loss-sculpted wisdom, and the tears-watered strength. Your vision must now match your value. Heaven is saying, walk as if the promise is already yours, because in my eyes it is. So rise each day with this awareness. Your obedience is your offering. Your peace is your weapon. Your gratitude is your gateway, and your faith is your fire. This is how you cooperate with divine reversal, not through striving, but through surrender. Not by trying harder, but by trusting deeper. The shift is not coming. It's here. And those who align with heaven's rhythm will walk effortlessly into favor that feels almost unfair, but it's not. It's just finally your time. As this new chapter unfolds, know this: heaven has already assigned protection around you. You are not stepping into blessing alone. You are being escorted by grace itself. The same angels that watched you through the valley now walk beside you into the promise. Nothing about your journey has been left unguarded. There is a divine shield that surrounds those who walk in purpose. It's invisible to the human eye, but unmistakable in the spirit. You will sense it as calm in chaos, as peace in uncertainty, as strength when you should feel weak. That's not coincidence, it's covering. God's hand hasn't lifted. It has tightened its grip. When fear tries to creep in, remember you are not standing unarmed. Every lesson you've learned has become armor. Your discernment is your shield. Your peace is your weapon, and your praise is your protection. The same voice that spoke light into darkness now speaks safety over your path. Heaven wants you to stop anticipating danger and start anticipating deliverance. You've lived long enough on alert, expecting attack. Now learn to expect assurance. Angels have been stationed ahead of you, guarding opportunities, clearing obstacles, preparing hearts to receive you. Even when you feel alone, the unseen realm is alive with guardians working on your behalf. In the nights when anxiety whispers, "What if it happens again?" answer with truth. Even if it does, I will not be shaken, because you now carry what you once prayed for: divine resilience. Harm may approach, but it cannot attach. Attacks may form, but they cannot flourish. You are sealed by purpose, and purpose cannot be pierced. There's a reason peace feels heavier now. It's because heaven has settled upon you like a mantle. You are walking under a different frequency, one that repels chaos. Those who come with wrong motives will simply fall away. The doors meant for you will open easily. The ones that aren't will close gently. That is protection in disguise. And when your spirit feels weary, remember God doesn't just protect your path, He protects your pace. He knows when to pause you, when to push you, and when to pull you back. Every delay in this season is divine defense. Every redirection is mercy in motion. So breathe easy. The same God who delivered you from what was meant for harm will not abandon you in your healing. The safest place you can be is inside His will. You are covered from every angle above by grace, around by angels, within by peace. Let this truth settle deep. You are protected because you are chosen, and you are chosen because you are loved. The shift is no longer a promise, it's becoming a reality. Slowly, beautifully, almost imperceptibly, at first you're transforming. The person who once doubted now moves in quiet confidence. The one who once feared loss now stands unshaken by change. You are not merely recovering, you are becoming. Everything about you is different, even if the world hasn't yet noticed. Your spirit stands taller. Your eyes carry peace that cannot be faked. The heaviness that once clung to you has lifted, replaced by a weightless certainty that God truly does make all things new. This is what fulfillment feels like, not loud, not rushed, but sacred and steady. You'll begin to notice that the things which once triggered your insecurity no longer have power. The words that used to wound you now glance off harmlessly. You'll enter rooms that once intimidated you and realize you no longer shrink, you expand. That's transformation from the inside out. Heaven is showing you that fulfillment is not just about what you receive. It's about who you become in the process. The promise was never only about restoration of what was lost. It was about revealing what was hidden within you. The true miracle is not the blessing, it's the becoming. God has taken your pain and converted it into power. Your waiting into wisdom, your wounds into weapons of compassion. Now you speak differently. You love differently. You walk differently. People sense something unexplainable around you, a glow, a calm authority, a peace that carries its own gravity. That's the mark of divine reversal fulfilled. And just as surely as transformation shifts within, fulfillment will unfold without. Doors that once slammed shut will now swing open with ease. Ideas that once felt impossible will take form effortlessly. Provision will appear at the exact moment you need it, not too soon, not too late. Divine timing will start to feel natural because you've learned to move with heaven's rhythm. There will come a day soon when you'll look back and realize the harm truly did become your harvest. The tears became testimonies. The loss became leverage. What was meant to end you has introduced you to your true beginning. The tables have turned, and the new chapter has your name written in bold across its pages. And when that moment comes, don't rush to prove yourself. Let the fruit speak. Let peace be your proclamation. You won't need to explain what happened. Your life will show it. Your presence will preach louder than any sermon that God is faithful, that pain has purpose, that delay does not mean denial. The transformation you're living through is not just for you, it's generational. Your healing will heal others. Your restoration will ripple through those connected to your life. You've become a living prophecy, a walking reminder that no weapon formed against the chosen shall prosper. So embrace the glow of fulfillment. Let gratitude rise in place of grief. You've walked through the fire, and now you carry its light. Everything that was meant for harm has been rewritten into harmony, and everything lost has been reborn as legacy. This is your emergence, the moment heaven shows the world what endurance really looks like. Take a deep breath. Feel this moment. You've walked through shadow and silence, and yet you're still here. Stronger, wiser, softer in spirit, but unbreakable in faith. Heaven is smiling upon you now, not because you've done everything perfectly, but because you stayed. You refused to give up when the world said it was over, and for that, the divine reward is being released. Before this word closes, seal it in your heart with these affirmations. Speak them aloud slowly, with intention. Let them become truth in your atmosphere. 1. What was meant for harm is turning for my good. Every time you say it, you invite heaven to finish the work. The pain loses its power when your words agree with God's will. 2. I am protected, provided for, and positioned by divine design. Say it until your spirit believes it completely. You are not behind. You are right on time. 3. My past no longer defines me. My purpose refines me. Everything behind you was a classroom, not a curse. You learned, you grew, and now you rise. 4. Peace is my portion, and favor follows my footsteps. Wherever you go next, peace will be your passport and favor your companion. Let these words dwell in your heart until they rewrite the way you see yourself. Speak them over your mornings, whisper them into your nights. Every affirmation becomes a spiritual anchor, holding you steady even when waves try to rise. And now receive this blessing. May every closed door that once caused you pain become a symbol of divine protection. May every delay you endured transform into proof of perfect timing. May every tear you cried water the garden of new beginnings. May every false accusation fall powerless in the presence of truth. May the favor of God surround you, like light guiding, guarding, and glorifying your steps. May your voice carry healing wherever it's heard. May your presence bring calm into chaos. May your name be spoken with honor in places that once rejected you. And may your story continue to remind the world that nothing is wasted in the hands of a faithful God. Walk now in peace. Walk in strength. Walk knowing that what was meant for harm has already become the foundation of good. The turnaround is complete, and the testimony is alive within you. You are living proof of divine reversal. You are the fulfillment of what heaven promised. You are chosen, protected, and unstoppable. And from this moment forward, may grace follow you wherever you go. Amen.